What's going on, guys? Greg here. And in this video, I want to kind of share how to productize your service and get paid for your knowledge each and every month. Thinking about this phrase that I just heard on a podcast, addition through subtraction. And what I've noticed is that many of you, myself included, there's this stage in our growth. From an income perspective, it's usually when you're making somewhere between like 15 and sometimes like 40K a month in revenue. I've seen people in this exact same situation between those ranges. It's really, really common in the early stages of growth inside of your business where the classic saying, the things that got you here will not get you there. And so I talked to a lot of folks, and I was talking to one client yesterday who is stuck around 15K, fluctuates between 15 and 20K. And then I talked to a prospect who has been around 10K for like 8 to 10 years. They know that there are things that they're doing that they need to stop doing. And so I wanted to kind of talk about, in both of these examples, this one person who's like been between 15 and 20 and this other person who's been stuck at 10. In order for them to get more, meaning they want to make more money, they want more freedom, they want more profit, they want more clients. In most cases, for most of us that are in that stage, you have to subtract things. And so there's a few things that you have to think about and consider subtracting. And now, mind you, none of these things are going to be comfortable, which is why most people end up staying in this spot, because the comfort of the current pain that they've now normalized is easier to deal with because they've been dealing with it for so long that they never evolve to get the things that they want. They never evolve enough to get the more that they say they desire. And so a few things that you need to think about subtracting is, one, old clients. So you probably took on some clients that got you to where you're at. Legacy clients, as we'll call them. They were great in the beginning. They helped you get traction. They helped you figure out what you were good at. You probably over-delivered. You probably were underpaid and overworked, but you've hung on to them because it's a safety net. You don't know where the next client is coming from. And so you keep holding on to these clients. I was talking to my client that I'm thinking about. They have 10 or 12 clients that are not paying him enough money and actually take up a significant amount of his time. And when you look at the numbers, he's probably losing money on some of those clients if he were truly tracking everything. And at most, maybe making 50 to $100 per client per month. Yet the time it takes him for each client ends up being somewhere around from 3 to 5 hours per month for a client, which I'm gonna guess is very lowball. But let's just say 5, right? So that's 50 hours a month for just 12 clients. That's over one work week for just a few clients that you're not even making money on. And so he's stuck in this area because he probably needs to let go and subtract some of these clients, which is going to temporarily lower his income so that he can go get better clients that can pay more. And in order to do that, he probably needs to reevaluate his offer, which is what we were talking about, and restructure how he prices things and what's included and what's not, and possibly even shift the market he's serving. Now, one of the other clients that I was speaking to was kind of in a similar situation. It was another area of subtraction. So the first one is maybe subtracting old clients that don't serve you anymore, that are taking up too much of your bandwidth. Before I go on to the next one, I'll actually share a quick story of us. We had about 25 clients on retainer, some big names. And when we were running the numbers, we realized that there were like 5 or 6 of them that ate up about 40% of our bandwidth, and we were barely making any money on. But they were the cause of most of the headaches and required the majority of our attention. And when we wanted to take on more clients and we had no capacity and no bandwidth, we were working nights, weekends, all the stuff that you're probably doing. We were like, well, wait a minute. How many clients in the new way do we need to replace these 5 or 6 culprits that we allowed to expand scope and are now not profitable on? And it ended up being like 2 clients a month. So instead of spending all this time trying to keep 5 or 6 clients that we were losing money on, taking up almost half of our time, getting 1 new client per month, like that's where I had to ask myself, am I confident in my ability and our team's ability to go get just 1 new client a month that would also free up 40% of our bandwidth? And that was scary and it was hard, but I was also exhausted and I didn't want to keep living that way. Some of you guys are comfortable living that way and need a slap in the face or, a punch in the gut to make you realize that maybe you need to change. Or maybe you're just a lover of pain. But I was not. And so we needed to get rid of those clients and we parted ways, on polite terms. We didn't burn bridges and we started adding new clients. And that was one of the best things we ever did because it unlocked the next phase of our growth. We were in a different season of our business. And most of you guys won't leave the current season for the new season because there's a little bit of uncertainty and it's a little bit scary and uncomfortable. But guess what? That's what growth looks like. Like if you want to grow, you need to get comfortable in uncomfortable situations. And you also need to get comfortable being able to take 2 steps ahead without necessarily seeing the next 55 steps. Like that's just not possible. If that were possible, you wouldn't be stuck where you were at. And so you have to get real with yourself. So the first subtraction is old clients. The second subtraction is old habits, allowing clients to dictate what you do for them. They're not the ones who should be telling you what you should be offering, what your services should be. So your scope probably has expanded. You probably make yourself too available to clients. Do they have your phone number? Are they calling you on weekends? Does your weekly calendar look like it's just you responding to them and not you telling them and directing where they should go for help? One of the first things we do with our clients is re-engineer how they show up each and every week, freeing up 1 day a week to work on their business as a starting point. Because here's the reality. If you read books like Profit First, as the CEO, which you're wearing the hat of for a fraction of the time, you're also wearing, fulfillment hat, sales hat, all these other things, just like I was and still am in some cases. Even at $1 million a year in revenue, you're still wearing the CEO hat maybe 20% of your time, which is 1 day a week. So if you can carve out 1 day a week where you take no client calls, no team calls, and you can focus on the things that truly move your business forward, you're actually starting to be a CEO. That means you have to start changing how you behave. You need to start acting like, if you want to get to $500,000 a year or $1 million a year or $10 million a year, it doesn't matter. What would the $1 million a year person be doing? How would they act? Would they be saying yes to all the things you're saying yes to? Would they be accepting how certain clients treat them? Would they be working overtime for little and nothing to show for it? Probably not. So there's probably some habits and behaviors that you need to unlearn and get rid of. And again, one of the things that is difficult, in my opinion, my experience from having worked with probably over 600 now people, is you have to get around people that help you unlearn these stupid things that felt so normal at some point. I was guilty too. And it happens at every level. When you get to 50K a month, if that's where you're trying to get to, guess what? There's a bunch of other stuff you have to learn. I'm going through a season right now of a lot of things I need to unlearn, to get to multiple 7 figures. So it's like, if you think that there is going to be a time where, when this happens, I'll be ready, or when this happens, no, that's not how life and the game works. You got to love this process or at least learn to fall in love with this process. So you have to subtract old clients. You have to subtract old behaviors. And the last one from this top of mind, I'm sure this list could be longer, is old services. We did a lot of things for clients early on, many of which we no longer do. Version 2, if you will, of our business looked a lot different from version 1. There was a lot less services. There was a lot less offering. There was a lot less things that we would be willing to do because 1, we weren't actually good at them. 2, we were just doing them because we thought that's how we would keep the client, even though it was subpar. And we did them because the client told us to. And so I was doing things I didn't like doing for people that were demanding it, that honestly I didn't like working with. And the only reason those services existed was because I didn't know how to go get clients that I actually wanted to work with, or put my foot down and say, this is the offer that we're going to deliver. And so some of you guys are offering too many things. We have clients that come into our academy program that right now have too many things. And it's their unwillingness to let go of some of the old because it means short-term pain to go get more of the type of clients they want. We had one client who he could easily sell the course that he created with us to 8 people. He could drop one post on Instagram stories and he'd get 8 clients. And those 8 clients would require the same amount of bandwidth than half of one of his done for you clients. But the money from those 8 would be more than the client he was doing done for you for. And he was just hesitant to just go get 8 more of those clients. There are more leveraged ways to do it. And you might not have known how to do that before. And that is okay. No one expected you to. I didn't. You need to learn how to create leverage in your business. You need to know how to systematize things. But systematizing customized services and every single client gets something different is nearly impossible and creates so much operational drag that you you won't get there. So you need to kill off old services, subtract old services, the things that you're not the best at, things that you don't really enjoy doing, things that clients don't even really value or care about, things that have become commoditized. You selling any sort of done for you anything for really less than $1,000 a month, the likelihood is you're losing money, period. And if you look at most agencies that have retainers, if you really look at the LTV of a lot of them don't keep clients for longer than 6 to 8 months. So if you're stuck somewhere between 15 and 40K a month, the most likely reason is because you have to subtract things. And I get it. It's going to be hard. You're going to go backwards in revenue temporarily. But if you believe that you can actually add value to this world, add value to your right clients, it's a move you're going to have to make at some point, period. So that's all I got for today. Just speaking from the heart. There's a lot of new people in this group. We've made a lot of significant evolutions to our business because that's how you survive if you want to be in business for a while. Y'all, I've been doing this. I went out on my own 2014. I'm coming up on completing 9 years of having been employed myself and figuring this out on this journey. So if you are a service provider, agency owner, expert freelancer, consultant, the game has changed and it's going to continue to change. So again, hope this finds you well. Have a good week. We'll talk soon.